Hi 3-4s, today we are continuing to learn how to subtract fractions with the same denominator. However, you'll find that some of your answers are going to be in an improper fraction form. This means that the numerator is larger than the denominator. Just like you can see this fraction here, we've got 17 over 8, so 17 is larger than 8. That means when you get a fraction that is like an improper fraction as your answer, you're going to have to convert the improper fraction to a mixed number, then see if you can simplify the mixed number fraction. So first of all, before we get started, I'm actually just going to go through some examples of how to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers, then I'll apply them in a subtraction form. So we've got 17 over 8. What you need to do is you divide the numerator by the denominator. So we go 17 divided by 8. So it's the same as saying how many 8s go equally into 17. Now 8 goes equally into 17 twice, because if we use our skip counting and multiplication knowledge, 8, 16. So we've got 2 whole 8s in 17 and we have 1 remainder. So I'm just going to write R1. Then what you would do is you have the 2 wholes and the remainder goes over the original denominator. So 2 wholes and 1/8. So that's exactly the same as 17 over 8. But this is in an improper fraction form with our numerator larger than our denominator, and this is in a mixed number fraction, 2 and 1/8. Let's try a few where we're just converting our improper fractions to mixed numbers before we begin our subtraction. The next one, 23 over 4. So we can see straight away it's an improper fraction because our numerator is larger than our denominator. So we say 23, we divide our numerator by our denominator. 23 divided by 4, and it's the same as saying how many 4s go equally into 23. So I'm going to count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and if I went one more, it would go to 24. So I know there's 5 4s that go equally into 23, but there is a remainder of 3. So then 5 is our whole number, 3 is our new numerator, and our denominator stays the same. So from 23 over 4, the mixed number is 5 wholes and 3/4. Let's do one more of these conversions. So 15 over 2, our numerator is larger than our denominator, so it's an improper fraction. We divide the numerator, 15, by our denominator. So remember, this is similar to saying how many 2s go equally into 15. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. If I was to go 16, it's over 15. So I know there's 7 2s that go equally into it. And because it was at 14, there's a remainder 1. So our mixed number fraction is 7 wholes and a half. So 7.5. So 15 over 2 is converted to 7.5. Let's see this when we're doing a subtraction problem. So the first problem we'll do is 31 over 12, subtract 9 over 12. So we do not, as you can see here, this is an improper fraction and this isn't. We do not convert this to a mixed number yet. We wait until we get our answer. So we're going to follow through the steps like we did yesterday. So step number 1 is check, are our denominators the same? Yes, they both have 12 as a denominator. Step 2, subtract our numerators. So 31 subtract 9 is 22 over 12. because our denominator stays the same. This is our answer. So now you can see that our answer is in an improper fraction form. So this is where we convert it to a mixed number. So we follow the steps like we did before. We divide our numerator, 22 divided by our denominator. So we say, how many 12s go equally into 22? There's only one 12 that goes equally into it with a remainder of 10. And it goes over our original denominator. So our answer is 1 and 10/12. You can see here that we need to think, can we simplify now this fraction even further? So we need to think, is there a common factor of 10 and 12? And we need to try and find the highest common factor. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write the factors of 10 and 12 so we can see. So we think, what numbers go into 10? 10, 5, 2, and 1. And I'm going to list the factors that go into 12. So 12, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We now need to find the highest common factor that goes into both 10 and 12. And I can see here 2 goes in both the numbers. So that's the highest common factor. So what you do is you have the 1 and 10/12, and you divide both the numerator by the highest common factor, which is 2. So this is the same as saying, how many 2's going to 10? It's 5. And how many 2's going to 12, which is 6. So our answer in a mixed fraction and in its simplest form is 1 and 5/6. Let's do one more together. And so it is quite a lengthy process, but you just need to take your time and follow those clear steps and make sure that you show all your working out. So if you do make a mistake, you can reflect back and see, where did I go wrong? So 44 over 18, subtract 14 over 18. So remembering, we do not do anything to the fractions, the improper fractions yet. We wait till we get our answer. So step 1, check, are our denominators the same? Yes, they have the denominator of 18. Step 2, subtract our numerators. So 44 subtract 14 is 30 over 18. This is our answer. We now see that it's an improper fraction because our numerator is larger than our denominator. So we're going to convert it into a mixed fraction. To do that, we divide our numerator 30 by our denominator. So ask yourselves, how many times does 18 equally go into 30? So it goes into 30 once, and what's the remainder is 12. Now we write that as our mixed fraction with 1 and 12 over 18. The very final step is to see, can we simplify this mixed fraction any further? So are there any factors that go into both 12 and 18? This is where I'm going to write my little list. You don't have to do this in your working out, but it will help you visualize and make sure that you have simplified it if you can. So the factors for 12 are 12, 6, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And the factors for 18, so what numbers go equally into 18? 18, 9, 6, 3, 2, and 1. So we're going to have a look and see what is the highest common factor. So I'm going to start from my high numbers and see, are there any factors at this end that go into both of it? So 12 doesn't go into 18, 6 does. So we can see 6 goes into both 12 and 18. Now you can also see that 3 and 2 both go into 12 and 18, but if we used 3 or 2, we would then have to simplify it even further from there. So that's why we always find the highest common factor, and you might see it as HCF. So remembering, once we get to this stage, we have 1 over 12/18. We divide our numerator and denominator by our highest common factor, which is 6. So it's the same as saying, how many times does 6 go into 12? It goes into it twice. How many times does 6 go into 18? 3 times. So our answer in a mixed fraction form, in its simplest form as well, is 1 2/3. So 30 over 18 and 1 and 12/18 are still correct, but our focus today is to make sure that we're converting it from an improper fraction to a mixed number and then into its simplest form. So there are a few extra steps. Good luck, guys.